My name is Ayo.
Hello, you're welcome on the maiden edition of Jiroltv Exclusives. Jiroltv Exclusives is all about interviewing critical stakeholders in issues that affect Ekiti State and the country general. Today, we will be talking about the youth inclusion in governance. The youth, they say, are the future of tomorrow. And of course, when these youths are not well taken care of, when the youths don't know their place in the future that we talk about, then how then will they be the youth of tomorrow? And it only takes a government that knows its onions. It takes a government that knows the pivotal role youths play in governance, then they will have given them that opportunity to thrive or to actually identify who they are so that governance will be very easy. And that the Ekiti State Governor, Mr. Biodun Abayomi Oyebanji, has done with the appointment of somebody to actually oversee this critical aspect of governance. And that is the office of the youth inclusion. He is Mr. Ayo Ojo Jr., the technical advisor to the Ekiti State Governor, Mr. Biodun Abayomi Oyebanji, on youth inclusion. Today we'll be talking with him, and I want you to come along with us and let's see what really does Governor Biodun Abayomi Oyebanji have for the youth in Ekiti State. Come with me. Thank you for giving us this privilege to come and speak with you. For the purpose of our audience out there, let's have your name and designation.
My name is Ayo. I'm the technical advisor to the governor of the state on youth inclusion.
All right, when we talk about youth, we talk about governance, we talk about economy, and we talk about the state in general. Now, there are four things attached to this. First of all, let me ask you this. What do you think the governor was thinking when he brought up this office? Because when you consider the previous administrations, there's never been something like this. It is always student affairs office. But now there is a specification. What do you think the governor was thinking about when he thought of this office?
Thank you very much. The thing I would say the governor actually had in mind while setting up the office would revolve around his passion for the people of the state. Mr. Biodun Abayomi Oyebanji is someone that's so passionate about people, passionate about people's lifestyle, passionate about people's welfare, passionate about the elderly as well. So what he taught specifically is the way in which you can actually connect with the youth more. Because in the past, obviously, the youth maybe in some way or the other have seen that they've been excluded in certain areas where opportunities are found. So Mr. Biodun Abayomi Oyebanji specifically created the Office of Youth Inclusion to bridge the gap between the government and the youth of the state.
All right. For you, who would you describe as a youth?
Well, when we talk about youth and trying to make a definition around that, times we're not really using the universally accepted definition. So, what am I saying? In countries like United Kingdom, America, Colombia, they see the youth population being anyone between the age of 16 and 35. Thereabout. In Nigeria today, I say the youth population is anybody between the age of 16 and 50. So,
Okay.
in a nutshell, the youth is defined as the vibrant and the productive population of any nation.
Okay. So you share the same view then.
That's my own view.
Okay.
So any population, anyone who actually comes from the population of vibrant, agile, productive ratio of any nation, then that's the youth.
All right. So while growing up, you have passed through lots of things. You've gone through. I think the other time we were speaking, you are also a sportsman. Uh, So we'll talk about that later. But let's talk about Ekiti State is known as the fountain of knowledge. Before they changed it to the land of honor and land of pride, but we still go with that land of a fountain of knowledge. Now, when you look at social inclusion, the social inclusion includes education. Now, Ekiti youth, as they are, we're not talking about Ekiti youth in general. How would you say they have been able to interpret this saying that we are the fountain of knowledge? Because when you look at what's happening today, everything now is all about Yahoo Yahoo, quick money syndrome. So how would you think the Ekiti State youth has been able to tap into this saying that Ekiti is the fountain of knowledge?
Thank you very much. If you look at the surface, you would understand that it's a new one,
Yeah.
which obviously we are just this July, so it's actually 7 months old. So getting into office, one of the major things I first of all did is to identify why we are not tapping into the gold mine of the educational opportunities, so to speak. Because when you look at Ekiti State, the first thing that comes to mind is we have the largest numbers of professors, even if it's not in record. Even if it's not in record. However, what we believe is whatever has not been done in the past around the educational opportunities, we are rewriting the script now. Okay. And that's why we're here. So the first thing that the Ekiti youth would benefit from would be what we call employability readiness.
Employability
readiness. Okay. So what's the employability readiness? So many youth are out there, they are not employable. Not because they don't have the basic school, not because they don't have basic education. However, they may not have the requisite skills to thrive in the labor market. So one of those things that we identified is the soft skills. So we already have plans of developing the youth around soft skills acquisition, creating opportunities where they can actually interface with the Office of the Youth Inclusion, organizing webinars, organizing workshops, organizing hangouts. So we're not doing it the way it's been done in the past. We're doing it differently. So we have the Gen Zs and we have those who are even within the Generation X or Y, who still believe the youth. So what we do in essence is we understand where the shoe pinches and we move quickly to tackle the issue. So education is key, and it's part of the things that we are taking seriously in terms of youth inclusion drive.
All right, so still on this issue, these days, politics and education, they somehow, they've been misinterpreted by youth today. When you ask a youth, especially those within the party, uh, what's your uh, what's your occupation? I'm a politician, and he hasn't finished secondary school. Some of them haven't even finished their uh, higher institutions. So, what is your office going to do? Because you just said that you are going to do it in a different way. Now, this issue of youth politicians, it's really, really affecting the political setting as it is. So, how would you make them see the difference? That when you are a politician, you must have another um, address, like what you do. If you are not a politician, who are you?
Right. So let me even take you through what we do in this office. I
Okay.
think that will be able to address, what you have, the question and what you have as a fear. So at the Youth Inclusion Office, we ensure that the youth are seen, they are heard, they are valued, and they are supported. So if we are doing those four things, which basically form part of our critical targets,
That is education.
so no, our youth are seen, heard,
Okay.
valued, and supported. So if you look at that, then number one, you mention something about education, and you mention something about politics. Two critical things actually we actually experience within Ekiti State. So it's a function of if you're not a politician, then you're either a tech guy,
Yes.
so which would give them room to make money for themselves in a legitimate way. So in the state, what we see is the population of the youth, a larger population of the youth are into politics. So they feel that's where they can get free money. So um, so that's changing. So how are we changing that? The former understanding of empowerment, which is put money in my pocket, the narrative has changed. So
Okay.
when I have interface with the youth organizations, I make it clear to them that my office is not here to give you money. My office is here to advocate for you, enlighten you, develop you, engage you, and empower you. And the empowerment now is not money. The empowerment is what your talents are. We harness it for you. We create opportunities where you can use your God-given abilities to project your image, to earn more money for yourself, improve your living standards, and help others. So if we are able to do that, then their perception and their mindset would shift. And that's what we are doing. Our destination is to ensure that our youth are independent financially. That's the financial independence.
Independence.
Right from your secondary school, we want to ensure that by the time you're finishing secondary school, you don't even need to ask your parents for money because already we've identified your skills. So there's what we call skills assessment. So we want to know the skills that you already have while in school, and we're able to match it. So we match your skills with job opportunities out there. So we're in talks with various organizations. We're in talks with the banks, microfinance banks. We're in talks with some philanthropists, both within Nigeria and outside. And so we are doing quite a number of things to help improve the livelihood and the lifestyle of our youth in legitimate way.
Okay. So when we talk about this inclusion, uh, how does the inclusion strategy address the capacity gap within the youth population of Ekiti State?
Right. So, like I said earlier, inclusion is basically about advocacy, engagement, enlightenment, development, and empowerment. So the skills acquisition gap, is that what you asked?
Yes.
Yeah. So the acquisition gap is being addressed in in a kind of call it in a radical way. And when I say radical way, I mean we we bring practitioners in the state who would deliver free trainings on key professions, trade, export, marketing, branding, what's it called? You know, yeah. So intellectual property and yeah. So things around you doing international trade. Like you have your business. Probably for instance, let's take for instance, you are a farmer. So we want to take you from being just a peasant farmer to being an exporter of yam, exporter of maybe cocoa products, exporter of other cash crops. Apart from that, we are looking to even develop a more robust value chain, such that you're at the other end, farming. You already have someone who is going to, translate what you're farming into other finished products like shea butter, cocoa butter for beauty products and all. So we're not stopping at just growing and consumption. We are extending it towards having your face in the international market. So if we create opportunities around that, then I see a way in which our youth skills acquisition gap can actually be bridged.
Okay. Talking of skills acquisition, I'm very sure I know the impact that the state government is taking when it comes to education, which you've already explained. But this skill acquisition aspect, when you look at skill acquisition, vocational training these days, especially here in Ekiti State, our youths don't want to learn any skill. And one of the bedrock of your job is to make sure that is to engage them in vocational training. So how are you going to make this attractive to them for them to go learn these skills?
So I will say something, and that I'll say again. So we had an interface last week. Yeah, I had an interface with the STG group, NYC.
Okay.
So I told them I'm only interested in the 20% of the new population of the state.
20%.
Yes.
Why
So when I
20?
say 20%,
Okay.
I have a strategy. I'm not interested in 100% of the stages. You already said it. I've done my research. The state youth mostly are interested, and I think it's a general thing in Nigeria. They need quick cash. So some of them do not understand the process of having to put in effort before you can take something out that's sustainable. So now the 20% will now actually cover the serious youth of the state that are willing to acquire more skills, are willing to cascade or upskill what they're already doing. So it's not just about I do this and I feel I should be earning. It's not the entitlement culture anymore. It's about putting out information around skills acquisition and reaching and enabling people with their full potential in their life. So we're talking about long-term development, and when you see that resonating with you, then obviously you're ready to put in work, to put in effort in order to achieve something that will go a long way in forming a lasting solution for yourself. So once we are able to identify those serious youths, because most of them we will get from the universities, we get from those industries that are not in work, but are willing to work. Okay, so from the former, I think that was like a month or two ago, there was a database collection made by the Ministry for employment and job creation. So we have those who have skills, however, are not in work. So from there, we know that these people are willing, and we make you understand that we are not politicizing anything. We are not doing politics. We want to get the right people in the right work. So by the time we take them off the street, and we put work in their hands, and we put money in their pockets through that, then the remaining 80% will see for themselves that this thing actually works, then they will follow suit. So it's more about you doing evangelism in the church. You go out, you meet people on the street, you show them on the TV that, before and after, this is how my life was and this is how my life is. Now, it's not up to you or left to you to say, you want to follow this same path, or you still want to continue doing the Babasa or maybe okay. You don't do that anymore. That's why this office is set and it's created. We are not into the usual way things used to be done. We are
sharing money.
No, we're not sharing money. There's no money in this office. We are just creating
Avenues.
job opportunities for people. We're advocating for the youth. And by doing that, we connect them with the right channels, United Nations, international communities that will now give them funds when they see that they are serious. However, we can't guarantee that we'll be able to let them have these things except they show that sign of seriousness. So 20% is my target. 20% will now cascade the same thing to other people. Then eventually we'll have like 90 or 100%. So that's my strategy.
All right, 7 months in the office. What have you done? What would you say?
So we've done 4 things or 5 things basically: engagement, empowerment, development, advocacy, and enlightenment.
Okay. So let's talk about engagement.
Yes. In my Q1, that's my first quarter, that's January to March, I had the opportunity of engaging with the coaches of the sports organizations in the state. I had an interface with the former coach of, I think it's United. I can't really say which club it was. I had the interface with Mr. Abudu Ojo, that's the State Athletics Association chairman. I had an interface with the baseball coach, Mr. Aino. I had an interface with the cricket coach, Mr. Aino, what is his full name? I had an interface with a couple of other sporting heads. So the whole idea is sports is critical in the youth development. So I chose to do that first of all. Then I had interfaces with the student organizations. So the Federal University Students Association, FESU, and a couple of other people. I can't really remember their names. However, our offices. So the main reason for that interface is to identify where the areas of need are. So probably just doing a need analysis, gap analysis, and identifying what we are able to provide in order to enjoy a win-win situation there. So I took it upon myself to always carry the government along. And one of the major breakthroughs was, and is, not even was, is the my recommendations around the athletes. So one of which was my proposal. I made a proposal basically 4 things. Number 1, the issue of bus for mobility.
For the athletes?
For the athletes, yes. Then, because most times, they get stuck and they want to go for events. And they have their own bus. It's easier for them to get around. The issue of stipend, monthly stipend, I wrote to the governor about that as well, because we found that some states that have deep pockets are actually coming after our athletes.
Athletes.
They take them off and make payments. Yeah. So I also wrote that the coaches should be taken care of. But today, I'm happy to tell you that all things I requested for have already started being implemented. So I fought for it in March, June. The results were already enjoying. So I had interfaces with other students' organizations. So, coming on the job, I had a plan, a strategic plan. However, I had to put the plan aside, like just give it opportunity that I can tweak it from time to time. And I reached out to the students, like what are the things you need? So I had interface with what's it called? The man that actually did the dramathon. He drummed for 9 days, and so we had the opportunity of talking, and he said he wants to promote the culture of the state. And how does he do that? By using his drum to actually engage the youth. So the thing is, engagement, so to speak, is very key. Through engagement, you get to understand where the needs are and how you can meet those needs. So advocacy is part of what I do by letting our youth seen, heard, supported, and valued. So I come up with a pet project, I call it. So it's promoting Ekiti talents. And how do I do that? From Mr. Fakorede, he is a sprinter. So he represented Ekiti State in the MTN Champs. He was drafted to represent Nigeria in the All African Games, which was held in Ghana. He ran a record time during the heats. He ran the last leg, the final leg, for the heat. And I started encouraging him, invited him over to my office, celebrated him, and So at some point, I reached out to my networks in the UK, and we were able to, distribute sporting kits to the athletes. Some of them did not have spice shoes. I was able to get that, provided. And the governor is aware. He requested that I write a thank you letter to the sponsor, to the donor. So that's part of the things that I've been doing between January and March. Advocacy, engagement. So the empowerment bit of it is where I see one of those youths who just need support. I am always eager to know what talents they've got. So what I do is I reach out to them, I sit them down, we have meetings, we have a talk, casual talks, so to speak. And from there, I was able to come up with a feedback form, which has been very useful because the feedback form we use now is going to let you hear your views about what you feel the office represents, what you feel can be done differently, what you feel we have not yet started doing but can actually be done, and your own opinion regarding Ekiti, the position of Ekiti government on the youth development and growth. So we're putting all that information into one place, and we are coming up with a strategy that works. So that's my youth empowerment bit, because inside the feedback form we ask for your details, and from time to time we encourage you with as little as a 500 naira that can buy data on your phone where you can use to communicate. So we're doing that just on our own, from our own beats. We're not seeking the audience of assistance of the government. So that's that. Then development. So the development bit is, we already know the areas where the skills gap are. So we are in talks with my technical partners who are willing to provide mentorship in the areas of our youth professionalism. We have people who are willing to fly down from Kenya, Colombia, America to do one or two to assist our youth as well. So in the area of enlightenment, we educate our youth with the states, with the most recent information around youth policies, youth support, and what's it called, grants, and grants support, and any other thing that can actually improve the lives of our youth in Ekiti State.
Thank you very much. You said a lot. All right. So in let's say before the end of this administration, where do you see the office? How many lives, how many youth do you see this office impacted?
Okay, I may not be able to do figure to it.
Yes.
However, like I said, if in my first 365 days I've been able to impact the lives of 20% youth of Ekiti, then in the next 3 years, I'm looking at 75% of the youth. And 75% of the youth in Ekiti for 35%, about 35% of the youth of the population of Ekiti State. So if you can have that, obviously 50% of Ekiti State is taken off the street and empowered. Not just empowered reasonably. So we are doing things that you can actually see for yourself. So we're starting with values orientation. So I work with SSA values orientation to the state governor, Mr. Toby. We call him Papilo, right? So he's worked he's worked directly with the ambassador to Germany. So he has a wide view of, and he's a very young chap who has the good of the youth at heart. So we're working together, we bounce ideas off each other, and so we're taking it from values orientation. That's the mind shift, and we want a situation where the youth will say, yeah, they can actually stand tall and say, I'm from Ekiti State, and I should be respected because I actually exhibit this what's it called, attractive traits of a respectable and noble person. So we're talking about someone who is honest, who is confident, and who can actually stand and speak for others. Stand for others, speak for others. So at the end of the day, we want to put Ekiti State not just on the map. However, we want to make Ekiti State the number one destination spot in Nigeria, and if possible, in Africa. So we're not only doing this that I've said, we're working with the Bureau of Tourism. So what we're doing is we're creating content where we put on the internet and around, not only around the Kobosi Long Spring, we have close to 45 tourist destination places in the state. So we are projecting that. We're putting in their faces on the internet where people will be wondering that, oh, do we really have this in Nigeria? Then they want to come. I'll give you an example. When I started promoting baseball, for me, I never knew it states that deep in baseball. I mean, even Nigeria, I wouldn't know. I never knew Nigeria actually does baseball that much. So now people are reaching out to me that really, if the state does baseball, and I'm like, yes. So that's just one area where we are promoting Ekiti talent. And I think with that, we'll be able to put Ekiti State back on the map, and people will begin to respect Ekiti for what they stand for.
Thank you very much. Finally, your advice to the youth.
Okay, so the youth of Ekiti State should remain Um, they should remain true to the beliefs and the culture of Ekiti State. So, and our values. So, one of our values is honesty. One of our values is confidence, integrity, and not backing down in what you believe in. So, Ekiti State youth have it all. Ekiti State youth that I've met, that I've heard about, that I've seen, even on the internet, they are doing wonderful things, and even all around the world. Look at the football, look at the sprints, races, and all. If the state youth, they are locals, they are doing well in the female football, doing well even in the coaching, in the Europe, even in the Premier League, the basketballers. I mean, we can't just name everything. What I'm just saying in essence is, AKT State youth, all you need to do is believe in yourself and believe in the talents that God has given you. And yes, you can actually aspire for greatness, and greatness you will get. Thank you.
Thank you very much. All right, there you have it. The Ekiti State government is ready for the youth. So also is the Office of Youth Inclusion, headed by Mr. Ayo Ojo Jr. And the foundation to be great in life is already set. It now builds on Ekiti youth themselves to harness the potentials in these opportunities that are laid before them. And that is how it's going to be on this edition of Jiroltv Exclusives. Join us next week for another episode. Bye.